Have you ever felt invincible? Like you're living your life for somebody else, and somewhere along the line, you got lost in the process? Like you lost you? Now, I know that feeling. I have lived it. I checked all the boxes, played by the rules, and still something felt off. I was smiling, but it wasn't always real. I was saying, I'm fine. Days when I really wasn't. Shrinking so others could shine until I had an awakening. Not because Prince Charming showed up at my door to enlighten me like the fairy tale. No, because I finally realized that the only person who could rewrite my story is me. Hey, y'all. I'm Mick, and I am on a mission. I'm on a mission to disrupt the narrative and remind you to bathe, to be anything, do everything that you desire because you can. I inspire action through workshops, talks, and through my writing. In other words, I give women the tools and the nerve, really, to bet on themselves. And today I want to talk to you a little bit about my story, tell you who I am, how I got here, but also talk to you about the glue that's holding it all together in your life. Yeah, girl, I see you. I know what you're doing, right? But guess what? You're forgetting that you're not just the glue in life, you're also the glitter. Now, I get it. I have lived it for years. I know what it means to be the glue. I know how important that role is. I know what it feels like to shrink self so others can play big and so others can stretch and reach their dreams. Now, from the outside, I was that girl too. And I checked all those boxes. I met the expectations. I played by the rules. And yet something felt off. Inside, I felt disconnected. The whispers kept growing louder and louder, right? And all these questions were popping up in my life. Is this it? What is it that I really want? And when I tried to answer, I had nothing, no words. How is that possible? Right? I was quickly approaching my 50s and I did not know what I wanted. To be honest with you, I can't even remember the last time I had thought about that. What do I want? And let me be honest with you. The only answers I could come up with revolved around everyone else. My kids, my husband, their happiness, their joy. It turns out I was a master at living their lives. I knew exactly what they needed, what they wanted, but I couldn't answer that for myself. And this, not being able to answer what is it that I want, gnawed at me for weeks and months, and this restless energy. And it kept me up at night. I was tossing and turning because deep down, I knew there was more. Deep down, I knew I was meant for more. And even though I didn't know, had no idea what more looked like, I knew I needed to find it. And that was the beginning of my awakening journey. Those whispers that just grew louder and louder that I could no longer ignore. Now, it turns out I was your classic sleeping beauty, sleepwalking through life, just going through the motions. I made the mistake to accept contentment as fulfillment, and they are not the same thing. I was so busy putting everyone else first, I totally forgot about me. And I felt like I was suffocating, like I was slowly dying. I would show up places, but I really wasn't there. Do y'all know what I'm talking about? Do you have that feeling? And that version of me, she was ugly. She grew resentful and angry and was blaming others, circumstances, everyone else's fault, right? But truthfully, I was just lost. I was stuck and I didn't know how to get out of it. And like most things, even though your body's telling you these things, right? You're getting these whispers. They're telling you like something's off, fix it. Something's off, fix it. Oh no, I'm so good at burying and deflecting, putting it away. Nope, it's okay. Let me just be busy being busy. And then in like a sequence of events, three things happened in my life that changed everything. And the first was a massive heartbreak. My nephew, at the age of 21, lost his battle with addiction. Now, I wish this pain on no one. And I saw this little boy turn into a man and get his life sucked away by drugs. And I sat at his funeral. And I remember listening to the eulogy, and anger just consumed me. Not at him, but at myself. Like, how dare I waste a minute of my life being anything less than. Let me tell you something. Life is a privilege, and I was wasting it. I get to live. I get to do this thing called life. What the heck am I waiting for? The second slap in the face was when the world stopped, when COVID hit, the lockdown. Whew, that was tough, right? And that came with no distractions, no more hamster wheel, no more being busy all the time. And in that silence, I heard the voice I had been pushing and pushing away, my voice. And it kept asking, when do we get to matter? When do we get to matter? Whoosh, that one hurt. And the third moment came when my youngest was applying to college. And it feels like such an innocent moment, but it was so subtle, but it hits so hard. There I am doing my thing like all mamas do. I was preaching love. Oh boy, did I preach. Dream big. Paint your own canvas. Choose your colors. I said all these beautiful things, all the things that we do and say to our kiddos, because when we see them, there isn't a doubt that they can be anything and do everything, right? You know this as moms. We see them like, oh my gosh, the world is your oyster. Go get it. And when I walked away from that conversation, I just remember like bawling, like it just hit me in the gut. When did I stop believing that for myself? When did I stop dreaming? When did I stop reaching for the stars? And it was just this moment. I was so deflated. The realization crushed me. I was devastated for myself. I finally felt it, that pain, that frustration, that longing, and that disappointment, the disappointment in myself. And then what always comes next for women, the enormous guilt. How could I ask for more when everything I had was so great? I checked 8 out of 10 boxes. Like, that's pretty good, Mick. How could I want more? How selfish of me. And then just like that roller coaster of emotions. So you go from sad to guilt to then anger. I was mad for feeling guilty. I was mad that being a mom wasn't enough for me. It felt like a cage. I was mad that I didn't even know what I wanted, that I didn't know how to answer that. So then I was just mad at myself. All these things built up, and it was this rage and this confusion, this sadness. And I tell you, I started writing and I didn't stop. And I wrote. I wrote all my messy, all the raw, the real, exactly what I was feeling, no holding back, right? And then I did something crazy. I posted it. And here's what I did not expect to happen. So many women everywhere just raised their hand and said, me too. Me too, Mick. I was like, well, dang it. My gosh. Well, look at this. It turns out I am not the only Sleeping Beauty. There are many, many of us around. And it turns out we're all feeling this way. I'm not alone. And through this connection with other women, online, in person, just connecting with women, talking about these feels, is how I landed on my purpose, on my meaning, on my impact. And I stumbled upon it. And I say stumble because most people think magically your purpose, your meaning just is there, right? For the taking. But no, not always. Maybe for some, but it wasn't like that for me. For me, I had to lean in. I had to get curious. I had to dig deep. I had to go through some massive self reflection. I had to discover my why, what it is that I stand for, what it is that I believe in. And those are really, really big questions. I had to spend time there. And through this self discovery, it is how I discovered my why, which is to help women BADE to be anything and do everything they desire, because I know you can and I can. And why not us? We absolutely can. My workshops revolve around that, adjusting that mindset for women from or to and. You can be a loving mom and take care of yourself. Imagine that. You can cheer for others and be the star of your own show. Okay. It turns out you can chase your dreams and still be there for the people that you love. We can have a full life and still want more. That's right. So BADE isn't about being perfect. It's about being real. It's not about quitting your life. It's about turning up the volume on you, because anything less is diminishing all that you're meant for. Now, looking back, I didn't realize how much I was giving up, choosing everyone else. I made so many choices, and honestly, I would make many of them again. But this time, I would choose me too. But I see so many women who forget to choose themselves. And here's the secret that nobody tells you, that every time you say yes to them, you're saying no to yourself. And those no's, ooh, do they stack up? They stack up pretty darn quickly until one day you forget who you are. Ladies, we are good. We are good at shrinking. We're good at dimming our lights for others. Oh man, we're good at making ourselves smaller, quieter, less than. And while I see you and I understand how easy, how innocent it is to choose them over and over again, what I desperately need you to hear is that the world needs you too. Your voice matter. You need to choose you too. I used to think my voice didn't matter, that my story was too small, too broken. But that's actually not true. Not about me, and certainly not about you. Now, after working with so many women, I know this to be true. Too many women are walking around with unwritten masterpieces in them, stories that could change lives, starting with your own. I believe every single one of us is a poet, a writer, the author of our own messy, beautiful, imperfect life. We all have this instrument. We were all given this beautiful instrument, our voice, our words, and we need to use them. We need to use this instrument. And when you finally are brave enough to pick up the mic and take up space and explore what fulfillment feels like for you, that's when the magic happens. That is when the magic happens. But here's the reality. Most of us die with our music still stuck in our throats. Makes me think of Wayne Dyer's famous quote, "Don't die with your music still in you," right? He talked so beautifully and wrote so eloquently about this, the importance of pursuing our authentic selves. And too many women struggle with this. But this is precisely why I created the BADE workshops. Not to fix you, but to help you unmute yourself, to remind you you were never broken, to give you the tools and the freaking permission to want more, permission to put yourself first, to hold up a mirror and remind you that you are worthy of your own damn dreams. This is your wake up call. It's time to bathe, to be anything and do everything. The world is waiting for you to take up space. The only question is, are you ready? Now, if you've been following me, you know this about me. I don't mind doing the talk, but with that action, we got zero. Zip, we got nothing. You have to take action. So I'm going to leave you with some BADE actions. The first one is be. Just be. Be your story. This is about you. Forget about the world's expectations. Stop waiting for a fairy tale to save you. Prince Charming is not coming to wake you. You have all the power, all the agency to write your own story. Own it. Number two, you must take action. You've got to take one bold step today. I need you to stop thinking and I need you to start moving. It's time to act. What's one thing that you have been putting off because you've been so busy serving everyone else? I want you to do that today. I don't care how small it is. I need you to take one step towards this, right? I don't care if it's calling that person, writing that email, signing up for the course. Please just don't wait for perfect. It's not happening. Just make it happen. Start. The third thing I need you to do is to break the patterns. You know the patterns because you get them on every day. That hamster wheel, I need you to get off for a minute. I need you to take a break from it. Listen, Sleeping Beauty, enough with excuses. You've lived a life fulfilling everybody else's wants. It's now time you take a break for you. Break the pattern. I'm talking about all the habits, the patterns, the limiting beliefs, the fears, why you're stuck. I want you to write it down and I want you to toss that in the trash. You have been playing small for too long. You've been playing on the sidelines for too long. Now it's your time. I need you to do something that makes you feel so uncomfortable. I need you to hit post just like I did on that email. I need you to, on that blog post, I need you to do something that is just scary because you don't know what's on the other side of that. It could be something incredible. And the fourth thing I need you to do immediately is to elevate. Reclaim your space, your joy. Now that you've started to wake up, now that you're really paying attention to what it is that you want, you've got to elevate. And I'm not saying quitting your life, but look around, pay attention. Make sure you're consuming things that propel you forward. Surround yourself with the right people who are going to cheer you on. One of the first things that helped me was to surround myself with other women who were going through the same thing and wanted more. And so we went together and we dream. I tell you right now, I have a dream squad. I have a group of women that I will literally call and say, hey, I'm ready for a sesh. Let's go dream big. They're like, we're in. And literally we go and we play. And it's the best because we inspire each other and we're like, heck yeah, why not? You need that in your life. And I promise you this, if you keep taking steps, even small ones, eventually you'll get the confidence that you need to take bigger strides. And then, girl, you're just going to be rocking and rolling. I'm telling you right now, that's how quickly it happens. You got to start doing it though. Without doing, nothing happens. So these are your BADE actions for the week. It's not about having it all figured out at all. It's about choosing you. I'm trying to get you to that mindset where you create space for yourself. It's about waking up and realizing that you get to live too fully and joyously and meaningfully and with purpose. You get to do that too. You get to have a go at your dreams too because you matter. Okay, well, that's a wrap for today. But if you enjoy the content, please subscribe and share with your friends. And also, if you're interested in some of my workshops, drop me a comment with mic drop and I will send you all the intel. Also, check out the description for some freebies. I think you'll really enjoy them. Until next time, don't forget to BADE, to be anything and do everything.